Perhaps the most unique challenge in all of karate is Kyokushin Karate's Hyakunin Kumite, or 100-Man Kumite Challenge. Devised by Kyokushin Karate founder Oyama, the challenge is the ultimate mental and physical challenge, designed to test one's spirit. Kenji Yamaki described the challenge as a transformative experience. Howard Collins said it was the hardest 3 hours of his life. The challenge involves having to fight 100 opponents, one after another. Fights are full contact and typically last around 2 minutes. The only protection fighters are allowed are a mouth guard and a groin protector. If knocked down, a fighter must get up within 5 seconds or fail the challenge. Fighters must win at least 50% of the fights to pass the challenge. Typically, opponents are the same grade or higher, although sometimes lower grades may be used. Fighters may have to fight the same opponent more than once, depending on the number of opponents available. Oyama was the first person to complete the challenge. He would not ask his students to undergo something he could not do. He did the challenge 3 times, on 3 consecutive days. He wanted to do it on the 4th day. However, there were no opponents left. Originally, Oyama wanted the challenge to be a requirement for 4th or 5th dan gradings. However, this idea was abandoned, as not every fighter could handle the grueling challenge. The first man to complete the challenge after Oyama was South African Steve Arneal. Others had attempted the challenge but failed. On the 21st of May 1965, Arneal took the challenge. He completed it in 2 hours 45 minutes. He knocked out his first opponent in around 15 seconds. He would go on to knock out around 30 of his opponents. He did lose some fights, but importantly, he survived. He became the first non-Japanese to complete the challenge. Tadashi Nakamura became the second man to complete the challenge in 1965. He completed his challenge on the 15th of October. Shigeru Oyama, no relation to the Kyokushin founder, took the challenge on the 17th of September 1966. A renowned fighter, he was undefeated in Japan. During his challenge, he had 122 fights. He is quoted as saying, "100 kumite is the hardest thing I ever did in my life. It is probably the hardest thing anyone can do in the karate world. You don't beat the 65th man with your body. That's all gone by then. You beat him with your spirit." 1967 saw 2 men complete the challenge. Dutchman Loke Hollander took the challenge on 5th of August. According to John Jarvis, who witnessed the challenge, the temperature in the dojo was 110 degrees Fahrenheit, approximately 45 degrees Celsius. Hollander spent the next 2 weeks recovering from numerous minor injuries. New Zealander Jarvis took the challenge on the 10th of November. He had been in Japan training with Oyama when he was asked to take the challenge. He had previously spent 2 years in the UK training under Steve Arneal. On the 1st of December 1972, Welshman Howard Collins became the first person to compulsory complete the challenge in a single day. He had arrived in Japan in 1971. He eventually became an uchi-deshi, live-in student, at the main Kyokushin dojo in Tokyo. He had seen other students attempt the challenge, so knew what to expect. He completed the challenge in 3 hours 30 minutes. He said, "I thought they were going to kill me, but everything went. These are the 3 hardest hours of my life that I will remember forever." Miyuki Miura was the next man to complete the challenge on the 13th of April 1973. The challenge was brutal. Oyama had told some of the younger students that they would be instantly promoted if they could beat him. Miura faced 20 opponents, fighting each one 5 times. After his 50th fight, his legs were bruised and he was beginning to breathe heavily. After his 70th fight, tiredness had set in and was beginning to affect his timing and reflexes. He managed to find the willpower to continue. He completed the challenge in just over 3 hours, becoming the first Japanese man to complete it in the new one-day format. Afterwards, his body was completely swollen. He even needed assistance going to the toilet. After Miura's challenge, there would be a 13-year wait until the next successful challenge completion. On the 18th of April 1986, Akiyoshi Shokimatsui became the 9th man to successfully complete the challenge. He later said it was one of the hardest things he had ever done. A year later, Ademir da Costa of Brazil completed the challenge. The 1990s saw an increase in the number of fighters attempting the challenge. two-time World Open Tournament finalist Keiji Sanpei attempted the challenge on the 24th of February 1990. He had previously failed an earlier attempt after his 49th fight. On his second attempt, he was successful. On the 19th of May 1991, Akira Masuda was the next man to attempt the challenge. He was the last man to attempt to challenge before Oyama's death. Taking place at the Tokyo Hombu, this challenge was acknowledged as being one of the most difficult in history. He faced many of the toughest fighters in Japan at the time. He showed tremendous spirit, even though he was extremely exhausted. His last 40 fights were tough, with him fighting by pure instinct. Later that year, he lost to Kenji Midori in the final of the 5th World Karate Tournament. March 1995 saw two fighters attempt the challenge. On the 18th of March, Kenji Yamaki, who would become world champion later that year, completed the challenge in 3 hours 27 minutes. He won 83 fights, 22 by Ippon, 61 by decision, drew 12 fights, and lost 5 fights. He started to feel cramps in his legs after his 50th fight. After his 60th fight, his whole body hurt. After his 70th fight, he became groggy and could hardly stand. By this time, his spirit and fighting instinct got him through the challenge. On the 22nd of March 1995, Brazilian Francisco Filho, a future world champion, attempted the challenge. He completed the challenge in 3 hours 8 minutes. He won 76 fights, 26 by Ippon, 50 by decision, drew 24 fights, and lost 0 fights. To date, Filho is the only man, apart from Oyama, to complete the challenge twice successfully. The 13th man to complete the challenge was South African Marius Schoeman. He completed the challenge on the 23rd of March 1996. Considered by many to be one of the greatest Kyokushin fighters, Hajime Kazumi was the next fighter to attempt the challenge on the 13th of March 1999. He completed the challenge in 3 hours 20 minutes. He won 74 fights, 16 by Ippon, 58 by decision, drew 42 fights, and lost 0 fights. On the 4th of July 2004, history was made when Australian Naomi Ali became the first woman to complete the challenge. She completed the challenge in a respectable 3 hours 8 minutes. By the end of the challenge, she was almost unconscious and had sustained broken fingers and toes. Ali was also the first woman to attempt to a 50-man challenge. Armenian Artur Hovhannisyan was the next person to attempt and complete the challenge on the 29th of March 2009. The test was completed in front of IKO1 head Shohei Matsui. In 2011, 2 men completed the challenge. Argentinian Emmanuel Bofils completed the challenge in September. On the 22nd of October, Australian Judd Reed completed the challenge. In 1991, while in Japan as an uchi deshi, he had fought Akira Masuda twice during his challenge. Judd was a member of the World Karate Organization, led by Kenji Midori. A documentary film, Journey to the 100-Man Fight, The Judd Reed Story, detailed Reed's attempt of the challenge. 26th of April 2014 marked the 20th anniversary of Oyama's death. Russian Teriel Nikolashvili attempted the challenge in front of IKO1 head Shohei Matsui and also Francisco Filho and Artur Hovhannisyan. He completed the challenge in 3 hours 21 minutes. He won 64 fights, drew 27 fights, and lost 9 fights. Saudi Arabian fighter Abdullah Tarsha completed the challenge on the 2nd of June 2016. This was followed by 3-time world champion Takuma Koketsu of Japan, who completed the challenge in Nagoya, Japan on the 26th of November 2017. Spaniard Daniel Sanchez became the next person to complete the challenge. On the 10th of March 2018, he became the first person from the World Kyokushin Budokai, WKB, to take and pass the test. That was achieved in Lorca, Spain. A tough endeavor, the 100-man challenge has seen many failures. As previously mentioned, Keiji Sanpei, the former head of the IKO2, failed on his first attempt at the challenge. Makoto Nakamura, a former 2-time world champion, also failed in his attempt. Over the years, there have been a number of variations to the 100-man Kumite format. This includes 20-man, 40-man, and 50-man challenges. Some of these challenges have formed part of grading requirements. There is no doubt that the 100-man challenge will be attempted again. The Hyakunin Kumite challenge still remains one of the ultimate tests of a karateka's mental and physical strength. It is an expression of Budo in its purest form. Thank you for watching Finding Karate's video on Hyakunin Kumite. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.